All right, Bruce, did you get the warning that this meeting's being recorded, just so you don't say anything that's self-incriminating and gets you in jail? Okay.
Yes, I did. We're ready.
All right, it's been a while, and part of the reason we've been on a while is that Bruce has been on vacation. Bruce took a trip to the beach and had some interesting observations about what he saw on the beach. So tell us, Bruce, about your summer vacation.
My summer vacation.
About what you observed on the beach, some of the Bruce observations of life.
Well, listen, I love the beach. The weather was beautiful, the surf, everything was beautiful. But I was struck by two things. One is you've got these, and maybe I'm becoming an old curmudgeon, but you've got these people with these just horrible tattoos, Ed. I mean, I don't know when they got them, but, as waistlines and bust lines and hips and arms and legs expand and skin goes slack as we age, these are not attractive. What they were thinking at the outset and when they got them, but I was just amazed at how many people had them, of all ages for that matter. And all I could, I was like, wow, what was going through your mind? And, when you get out of the shower in the morning and you see that, are you like, oh, you know what? I should get another one.
I really look good.
Yeah. Beside reading a few wonderful books, I did also notice, I don't remember girls putting makeup on to go to the beach when we were kids. And I don't, but we were in the, a beach community and you go out to dinner in the beach. But I mean, there were 11 and 12 and 13 that were dolled up, and I thought we were going
out in the sun.
What?
Just to go out on the beach and hang around in the sun, they're made up?
Yeah, but more in the early evenings when families are going out to dinner and ice cream. But I mean, 10-year-old, maybe it's me, but I don't remember kids under the age of 14 or 15, wearing all that makeup and jewelry and everything else.
And looking like a 16-year-old or 17-year-old.
Yeah, they looked old. They looked, 11 going on 18,
Wow.
And it wasn't like the exception. It seemed to be the rule. It was just startling to me to see them in little black dresses in the beach.
Wow. So it wasn't just a Jersey Shore thing, with the gelled hair and all that kind of stuff and the tattoos that go with it? No, you weren't in that kind of place. You were in the classier place, right?
Well, I don't know how, the beach is always pretty casual. But no, I wasn't like in Seaside Heights or someplace like that. I was on Long Beach Island, and most of the island is quite nice.
Yeah. So
if a little too packed these days.
That's interesting, though. I mean, you're talking about these young girls with all this heavy makeup, and I kind of felt like I'm hearing stuff about redefinitions of beauty lately, and sort of like anti-makeup more movement amongst folks, but yet the young girls are doing this, and I'm getting very confused in my head. I can't follow what I'm supposed to be thinking anymore, in terms of what's up and what's down and what's really going on.
Well, I know they're probably telling their dads that it's sunscreen. All these
is a PDF.
All the makeups have sunscreens in them now. So,
yeah. So that kind of reminds me. You also took a trip to Victoria's Secret for some.
We were talking about it. Yeah.
Redefine beauty.
Crap.
What's that? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you.
I can't believe how poor. Not that I spent a lot of time touching women's undergarments, but I was shocked at kind of the quality of the goods.
And can you please explain to our audience of 2 or 3 people what compelled you to go into Victoria's Secret? I mean,
because
it wasn't for you, was it?
No, we were talking about Victoria's Secret and them changing their whole advertising approach. And I heard, there was a store not far, and I would just duck in, and I was just shocked I had been in those stores years ago. Maybe I didn't remember, but I was shocked at how schlocky
Schlocky the product is.
the products that I saw displayed were. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it was ever high end, but it was always fashion forward, but the materials, you might as well be wearing plastic.
Wow.
I think there was a natural material in the store.
Well, it's kind of shocking because they've had problems, obviously. Their sales have gone down, and they've attributed it to redefinitions of beauty that are going on, and making sure, dealing with sexism and all that kind of stuff. And so they came out with this campaign, which is obviously going to pitch to like a much more of a high-end audience. Got transgender model in there. They've got a plus size model in there. They have, obviously, there's an Indian actress in there from India. All sorts of folks, including Megan Rapinoe, the soccer player, which would be counterintuitive on sort of a number of levels, considering what she has actually said about Victoria's Secret over the years. So I'm trying to put together sort of that imagery that they're going for with what you observed, and how is this going to translate to success for these guys?
Well, Ed, you can talk to this better, but I mean, what makes a brand work is not just the communication. That's the icing. That's the gravy on the mashed potatoes, if you will.
Right.
And by the way, the customers I saw eating way too many mashed potatoes.
Tattoos too, I'm sure. Well, I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing at them at all when I laugh like that. I laugh more about sort of the eggheads that are overthinking some things and saying, look, I don't know what the answer is for a place like that, because there are all sorts of trends going on. But if that represents what you observe their core franchise, and by the way, whenever I walk by one of those stores, I've never gone into one, but whenever I walk by one of those stores at either Atlantic City or at Mohegan Sun, I observe the same thing in terms of the customer base that's in there. And I'm trying to reconcile what they're doing now, and then all the commentary I saw on LinkedIn, which was primarily all high-end female executives that were applauding what they're doing, and that's fine. They're seeing it resonating with them in terms of what they feel about a lot of these issues. But then I'm thinking, I don't know if any one of them would actually ever go into a Victoria's Secret store, or if they go in and they experience what you did in terms of the product and who's in there, will they probably just walk out? So it's like thinking through all those pieces.
I don't even know who their customer is. I used to think of their customer as, teenage girls, like Juicy Couture type customers. I don't know who their customers are.
Well, it's kind of a fascinating story, and I'm actually compelled to study more about them now. Because when they did first start, I'm trying to remember what marketplace they first started. It might have been Texas. I mean, it sounds right. There were like about 4 stores, and the originator, he envisioned it as male customers, that he wanted a place where men would be comfortable to go in to buy lingerie for their wives and girlfriends, or both. And I think some of them were buying it for themselves too, is what's going on.
An every man's Fredericks of Hollywood, huh?
Kind of an every man's Fredericks of Hollywood. And it went from there and built up and built up. And then they ultimately got into the buzzsaw of a lot of the kind of political correctness, because even fairly recently, this Megan Rapinoe had said about Victoria's Secret, it's patriarchal, it's sexist, viewing not just what it is meant to be sexy, but what the clothes were trying to accomplish through a male lens and through what men desired. Well, no, you know what, Sherlock? That was the original sort of core DNA of the brand. And, at the end of the day, we all kind of know what's attractive and what's not attractive on both sides of the fence. So, as a place like that tries to go and redefine beauty, we'll see whether it plays or not, or how they how they execute and where they pull all these other pieces together. But I wouldn't buy their stock.
Well, yeah, what it is a fascinating story of evolution.
Yeah.
And trying to stay on fashion. I think the fashion industry is challenging to find those creative geniuses that kind of set trends, and those influencers that kind of build those trends into mass market appeal. It's an interesting challenge they have, but I think you got to start out with the product.
You do have to start with the product, and still, at the end of the day, you still now have what you just talked about, a very interesting trend. All these young girls heavily making themselves up in an era where there's supposed to be less emphasis on that stuff. So I don't know about you. I don't know if this makes sense, because coming out of this, I'm still more confused, but I think that's okay, and we'll figure it out in the next episode.
Right. Well, it will prove to be an interesting case study, no matter how you look at it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really do. So interesting challenge. So, and a far more interesting product to kind of follow than the insurance industry. All right.
But insurance is more important. But yes, I agree.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.